This is my barefoot hike through the Grand Canyon. My homie Daniel. Just wanted to show off some of this beautiful trail we're getting to hike so I can look at it later. This is for you, Corey.
Right? Ooh, boy.
Not even halfway.
Ooh, boy.
Woo! But around this bend is where we found your pyramid. And it's there. There are steps up to it, yo.
It is.
It's legit. Wish you were here. Greetings, YouTube community in the world. I am Safety Driver.
I'm Draw.
And we're back again for the very first official podcast of what we hope to be a long journey. You know, and if you're listening to the audio cast, you won't get to see some of the video options that we're going to be showing you in the YouTube video. And if you're joining us from either the Patreon or the Discord, thank you guys from where you're coming from. And I appreciate all your support from wherever it's at. So let's get into it right off the bat because we have so much to talk about. Draw, this was one of my most favorite experiences in this suit that I inhabit. You know, we took a trip down to the bottom of the Grand Canyon and we went back up to the top again. We did it in one day. It was about 18.5, 19 miles. That's what
hours,
we did.
19
14 hours. We have a map of, you know, what it was that we actually did, and it was from the South Kaibab Trail, and we came up the Bright Angel Trail. That's where we ended. And we left at, what, 6 in the morning?
Yep, 6 a.m.
We had our friend Scott drive us and drop us off. It was pretty crisp, actually. I remember, and there was there was more people out than I expected. You know, walking and getting ready to go.
20
do
people
their own
at
hikes.
least.
Yeah. There was probably 20 people at least.
Good bit of
to the point where we noticed that people were excited to do their like morning jogs. I didn't even realize that, and we'll notice that in one of the videos here in a second. But we'll go through some of these videos and show off. We ended up running into the mules, which was pretty amazing.
Yeah, that was cool.
We had the luck of being able to cross both bridges because what we found out the day after we went down this trip, they closed the bridges, right, for construction. Yeah. So we were so lucky to be able to even do what we were.
We were passing construction people.
Yeah.
As we were coming down.
That's exactly right. We were passing construction people. So it was really cool. You guys, I'll put a picture of this in all the places that we're doing it. There might be one in the video here. But this was the map, and it took us only until about, what, 10 in the morning to get down to the water, to the middle.
Yeah, to about 12
and we
or 11.
Yeah. We didn't arrive back up at the top again until, let's see.
9 p.m.
9 p.m. Oh. Yep.
We got into the car and made it home.
It was dark. We even crossed a ranger. I believe he was a ranger. He didn't tell us. But he was down at the bottom by this, before the 1.5-mile rest house down there, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was before that.
And he was, curious as to if we were going back up. And
oh no, that ranger, that was at Indian Garden.
Oh, that's right.
It was still daytime.
Further back, it was daytime. See, the trip was so long, so many things happened. So we can get into it, and we'll go ahead and start right here. We labeled some of them. It's kind of in order, but we're gonna watch them with you. And I'm not sure. If you can hear the sound, so we'll probably just put up the video here. But this is pretty much the canyon beginning.
My name is James Davies. This is Daniel Ward, and we will be hiking down this morning to the bottom of the Grand Canyon.
Huh.
And it's going to be one of the most epic
It's so
hikes
beautiful.
I've ever done in my life. 19.5 miles.
Look, here's the runners.
Nice. You guys are amazing.
We have runners. I mean, that was just, I couldn't believe it.
Runners.
They were running down the Grand Canyon, and I'm walking down. Now, granted, I was barefoot, mind you. It's the first time I mentioned it. I mentioned it many times in the video.
They're fucking running.
because these guys were just inspirational, dude.
And
Look at
as
that.
you can see, it goes straight down. We're on the side of the mountain.
And can you imagine being
Side
the
of the
most
camera.
athletic person to be able to pull that kind of a feat off? And we didn't even see them by the
No,
time we never saw them come back up.
We've never seen
So
them.
I only assume that they continued running the rest of the trip.
I think they went to the...
North was shut down because of COVID.
Was it?
Yeah, North hadn't opened yet. You could only do what we did, and we chose, by the way. It just came to us.
This
We
is the
didn't.
most
We didn't
random
decide
shit,
to
yeah.
go, hiking down to the bottom of the Grand Canyon, did we, John?
No.
No, we did not. And we actually just got a whim, and we decided when we saw it, it was just so beautiful. And
We were like, there's a way down there.
that's
I know
what we
there's
said.
a
Yeah,
way
there's a
down
way down,
It's
and we
gotta
kind
be.
of like picked the trail. And you're like, oh yeah.
Gotta be.
Little did I know the actual trail that we would adhere to, which was actually it's pretty nicely done. As a barefoot
Very nice.
walker, I must say I didn't appreciate some of the hops down, and I actually filmed some of it too. It was very chunky. Like, here's a stone stairway that you can, I'll show you the video here, and basically walking down it is man-made. So the steps,
to the Grand Canyon.
were great, but by the end of walking up and down them, your knees are going to be killing. Now, I was hopping up and down this side differently, and I felt a lot, more ease of movement, which, people were laughing at me.
Way more balls than
Yeah, I was backwards. It was a little crazy.
Look at that. We're about to go
But
down.
you see how it's like steps down in those logs.
Yeah.
Some of it was so dangerous, and that's what they were going to fix, I believe, in this construction.
Pointing at
We were talking
coming out
rebar
the ground.
sticking
Yeah.
up, man. And I stubbed my toe on a few of them. I'm not gonna lie. And even he was barefoot or sock footed.
Sock-footed. Yeah.
Sock footed a little bit. I think we got a section of that. Where's that? Morning down, sock foot. This is us going down, more barefoot. And you can see some of the earth where they tried to make it easy for people, but I find naturally as in hopping through the earth. Oh, look at that beauty.
Sock foot.
Sock foot.
What you
The
talking
whole way,
about?
baby.
It was beautiful.
Not
I
that
find.
bad. See?
Oh, look at that.
Nice.
I forgot what I was gonna say. Oh, what a crazy day, dude.
That was amazing.
I know. I should have ordered these. Put them in order.
We waited so long. So after we decided to do it, we
Yes.
waited almost a week before we actually.
Kind of watching the weather, like.
Yeah. It snowed one day.
I
While we
wanted-
were there.
and it was so windy, and it scared me being on the side of the Grand Canyon, trying to come either down or back up a bit, with the wind blowing either against me or off the. No, thank you.
Yeah, I
didn't-
know.
I wasn't about that. So we were very careful about that. We knew it was going to take all day. We knew it was a feat if we really were going to do this. But-
We didn't actually know how much of a feat it really is for the people
No.
online.
No,
Not
and I
very
wouldn't-
many people do
I would
it.
not suggest if you are not I wouldn't suggest anybody to do what we did in one day at all. Go down to the bottom, stay at the campground. It's like a few dollars,
Yeah.
$15. You can hustle that up on your way, maybe.
Yeah.
Like
How many
literally.
people there were?
Stay down. I put that in my pack just to be safe in case, maybe I need to pay somebody for something.
Maybe.
Like I just happened to have enough, but I didn't stay at them. I just found out that was the amount, around that I needed. But stay at the bottom, be healthy, and take your time doing it, but be smart about it. Don't leave out in the middle of the night, because I remember on the way back up, it was dark and we didn't want to pull out our flashlights right away.
super.
And I'm barefoot, mind you, again, and all of a sudden he turns on his flashlight, and boom, what is on the ground?
Big
Drop?
ass scorpion.
Scorpion,
Yeah,
black,
big ass.
that size, just like, woo, right there. And I
Huge.
couldn't believe
We were
what
like,
was going
Hey,
on.
come on,
Yeah, he
guys,
grabs
come
a
on.
stick and he starts coming at me. And I'm like, no!
Go not that way.
It's just- and we were dead tired, man. Well, okay, I got to give it to this guy. He's a mule. He's in better athletic shape, doing this Rock County stuff all the time. I'm getting older, and it showed on my way back up. But before we ever get to the back up, we had an amazing time going down. We crossed two bridges.
Yeah,
We
two
got to be
bridges.
at the bottom of the water.
Seen an old village, the ruins that are down there.
Oh yeah.
That was cool.
Yeah, that was really nice. And there was a dedication to one of the construction workers. I think it was a foreman
Yeah.
who had passed away down there, and we got to pay a little bit of respects down there to him too, because that's a tragic thing. Not to be it's not negative necessarily, but not to be a downer. It was he passed away down there building what we took to go enjoy ourselves all night. And it was I feel like a blessed thing. We even saw a goat. I'm going to show the goat real quick.
Goat was cool.
Here's a goat. Where we saw.
I think this was just after Skeleton Point.
I believe so too. We even stopped. There was a nice couple that was coming behind us that Daniel told about. Just check out this goat right here.
Call him Fred.
Oh, Fred. I should have named him Billy, but he wasn't a Billy goat.
It was not a Billy.
It was not a Billy goat. It was really nice to see, a little bit of actual wildlife. We saw all kinds of lizards and things like that.
Squirrels like crazy.
Squirrels. And that was the nutty part. When we stopped for lunch, there was a few people there, and there was a lot of people that were eating, and so I think the squirrels are used to getting food from that area.
Yeah, from people.
And they were getting aggressively close, and we didn't want to get punched in the face or
circled us.
They
were behind us, beside us,
steal our
in front
food.
of us.
It was
And I had pistachios, so any kind of nut, I'm sure, was a very bad idea to take with us in an area where squirrels are dominant.
Yeah, they would be a little bit more aggressive when there's something that they're like, oh my gosh, I want to get a pistachio.
And he's not giving me one.
Here is just a view of us going down. It was really nice.
Gorgeous.
So
Welcome to the
beautiful.
Grand Canyon.
So we had been told that
Bob Trail.
when you hike down to the bottom, you'll never see the top ever. You'll
You
just be
did
like, this
before,
isn't
right?
it. This is not the Grand Canyon anymore.
And this is just one section
Yeah.
of the Grand Canyon that we even went to. And we met people when we went down a little bit further in our trip that when we were in the middle that we're talking about, they were on a month-long trip. And they had camped came down the north, you were right, the North Kaibab, and they had wanted to go out the other way into Utah, weren't they? They were
Up
traveling
into
all the
Utah.
way up into Utah.
And then
That's
across.
amazing.
They had a place in Washington, I do.
That's amazing. Here's going over the hill and
Pulled off the trail just past tip off.
Oh, look, you could see the donkeys there.
coming up
That was
Yeah.
that bend.
it's
This
right
is
there,
the
about
most beautiful
9:48 in the
view.
morning for us
Of
on our trip.
And this is a straight drop
It
right
is.
behind us.
Woo! First
Straight.
time we really saw
Can't
the
even
water
see it down there.
that way.
Oh, it's so beautiful.
It was really
I
nice.
just hiked down
Look
there.
at that. All the way up that.
I wish everyone watching this video was here with us, but you are
You
in
did,
spirit.
too. You were in spirit with us. We took every single
So,
one with us. Even the ones that aren't with us today went with us on
Another
that trip.
video that went with us.
It was cool because we saw them coming up, and then I saw some people coming, down. I was trying to encourage them to come
Quick.
a little bit further to stand next to us to get the best vantage point and not be stuck sideways. But
Yeah,
you'll
we
see
had a
in the
good
next
spot
video.
to
We
sit.
had a good spot. It was like almost built for that.
Yeah, let him
Let's
go
see.
by.
I'll find the mules. We did get another video of the mules that came through, and this is pretty amazing because the way that they pack all the stuff, and then the people, separately.
Ah, I thought you could, man.
So
I'm
yeah,
sorry.
there's a group of people that stayed down there during the season that all this happens, and this is the way that they get all the food and supplies for the shop down inside.
Thanks
the
for all that work, guys.
There's actually a store, a general store
Down
inside the canyon.
Yeah, down at the bottom of the canyon.
Well, and
Crazy.
We almost walked that extra 5 miles, but we noticed that it was starting to get, a little bit later. That was another 5 miles onto a 19-mile trip.
We would have been dead.
Oh, I was already, I barely made it. I made it, but at the top it was ridiculous. So that was really cool to see.
Yeah, it's amazing.
the
Yeah,
power,
that's so cool.
man, and the agility. They just pull them right up, and they're used
All
to this
day.
by now. So you get a team of those doing the trip every day. Boom, 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 boom. You just learn that. So.
Makes it easy.
That was really awesome to see them from far away and then come up. But that wasn't the first time or the only time that we ran into the mules or people on horseback while we were there. And that's kind of what they say. If you see that, just step off the trail and let them pass. Or the people that are, in charge of that will let you know what to do. So that was pretty cool.
Because there are some areas that if you meet up with someone, there ain't nobody stepping off no trail.
yeah, it really was tight in some areas. It was really cool, though. I mean, goodness. Let's see. Now we have down when you get to the bottom. There's this really cool bridge, or two bridges, but there's a little tunnel. So this is us walking down as we're getting to the water, and I really wanted to show off the water to a lot of people that will never make it to the bottom of the Grand Canyon.
Right.
And you may see some other people's videos and stuff, but here's our path, going, and this is almost before the first bridge. Little sign even there, I think, says something about pulling off the area, for people that are on mules. I'm not sure. Let's see what it says. I think I show it. Boom! I was right.
Yep.
When mules pass, just follow instructions and pull off.
Yep.
What a trail, though. Look at that. Back up. I don't show it very often. You can see where some people pull off in the kayaks and the raft boats. And we've got this tunnel coming up, which is pretty cool. It's not very long. Not very long. It was really nice, though. At this point, it was
and cool.
Oh my gosh, it was so great. 10, 15 in the morning, maybe.
Yeah.
At the bottom of the Grand Canyon, it was probably, 15 degrees, 20 degrees cooler? In the tunnel?
In the tunnel.
Look at that.
And even around this time, it wasn't getting too hot during the day.
No.
Definite change.
Yeah, but see, I can even, I say it in the video, boom, you feel that cool air. So something nice in there. It shows me that people could have survived, even though this was man-built, but there's other little caves that could have been done. People survived in the Grand Canyon, and they made their way through seasonal. There's after we passed the second bridge, which I think there's a video of me crossing this one. Here's the first bridge. There's a whole Indian garden where they have food that grows natural in the desert, and they would plant other stuff, I believe. Look at that beauty, by the way.
They have their village right over here.
Yeah, and see, you've got the water there. You can get fish, and then there's also natural plants that grow, and you would migrate through that area, and there were temples, man.
Yeah.
There are what I would call pyramids, ancient pyramids in the Grand Canyon, and I saw them for myself.
We've researched them.
A little bit. I only noticed that they have made it very incredibly difficult and almost, I think, illegal to go to them.
They closed down.
They closed it down, and so that to me means there's something there. Otherwise, or it just needs to be protected. But it should be showing what all this stuff is, because that's part of.
If you've never looked it up, look it up.
Yeah, check it out. Who knows? Let's see. This was after lunch. I don't know if I showed this already. This was before, so I just jumped back a little bit. But this was after the squirrels.
Yeah, I was about to say we're eating on the run.
It's great though. I have those little Lara bars, which are mainly dates and
Show off
stuff.
some of this beautiful trail we're
I
getting to hike.
brought a lot of stuff with me. I shouldn't have done that. That was my mistake. I put too many things in a pack, and I had extra water. There were places at the bottom that you could get water from.
Yeah.
But I'm picky on my water.
Well, yeah, it's probably not as clean as the water.
There are steps up to it, yo.
I'm picky on my water. I like it to be clean and clear.
Me too.
I like to drink out of glass, even though I had plastic bottles on that trip. let's see. Now, I believe this is just something I filmed when I was at the bottom. It was great because I got in the water.
So there was a main river, which is the Colorado River,
Right.
and then this river, creek.
Little
I think.
adjacent
Yeah,
creek
little-
next to it.
Down at the bottom
I
of the
look like
Grand
I just.
Canyon.
Popped right out.
Yeah. But there's a little table right there that you can see in the video that
South
we
Kaibab,
set our
North
stuff
Kaibab
at. That
Trail,
actually
Right
had
Angel Trail.
We walked up
somebody
on
else's stuff
Yeah, we
sitting
walked
there,
up on
but
stuff.
we're trustworthy people, so we just needed a place
Oh, well.
to sit. It was the only shade, and we sat there. People were gone forever.
Oh yeah, it was almost 30 minutes to an hour that we sat there with their stuff.
But those are the people that we were talking about that
Yeah.
traveled from the North Kaibab, and they were packing together. They met, and they were going to start a relationship. I felt it. They were cooking. You know what they have, ramen or
Ramen,
something
yeah,
right there with
they
the
were,
little
like,
camp stuff. It was
breaking up
great,
hot
man. They
water or
backpacked it, dude. And I
A
have
lot of
tremendous
people do that.
respect for people that they were way fitter than I, though. And I gotta say, I was
Even I.
more impressed with what they were attempting than with what I was attempting. Going down to the bottom. I've heard other people have gone down to the bottom of the Grand Canyon barefoot, not up and back in one day though. I
14
apparently
hours?
feel like
Yeah. No.
in that amount of time, I am the world's first person to do that
Oh.
that has recorded it in any way. And
Taking this route, anyways.
yes. So I mean, there's other people. I'm not trying to claim anything. I should have, but
I'm trying to claim
well,
something for him.
the first thing that was my mistake is I didn't start up by the Bright Angel, and there's the visitor center, and we were just going too early that it wasn't open, and we didn't know we were going before, so
we didn't even realize you should sign
we
into
didn't
the
know
visitor
that,
center.
yeah, and
before
we
you
should
do
have
that.
done that. That's
Yeah,
our
we
mistake
should.
there.
We
Sign
really
into
should.
the visitor center if this is going to be
Because
something.
that's how the ranger knows who's all going to be coming through. If he don't see specific
It's
person,
important.
then he knows maybe
It really
he should go
is.
out and look. That's why he looked at us strange in
Yes.
Indian Gardens, because he
Yes.
didn't see us coming down.
And we weren't on
He's
any
seen us
books or
just
anything.
coming up. So,
And so they kind of wonder.
these guys really doing this in one day?
Right.
Oh my God! All right,
thought I
be
had-
safe.
Somewhere I thought I had the second bridge, but I feel that the file is missing now, so we'll just go to videos. Oh, there it is, second bridge. So here's 3 minutes is what it pretty much took for us to cross the second bridge. So here's that in its entirety.
Yes,
It's really cool.
this was gorgeous.
And mules cross this.
Yeah.
You know, which the other one, if you saw, they have these planks across, which is something I think they were going to be repairing. This one, look at that. Okay, that's just. So we were off over here.
So right behind us is actually where they store all their mules and where the
Yeah.
cowboy and stuff camp and sleep.
That's right. It was the camp that they. Now is it on here?
It isn't. It's like, let's see,
Not.
it's like right here.
So they have a nice little wood camp that they keep the mules at and stuff. This is really loud too.
Yeah, it is.
When they're crossing it, it was so deafening.
It's a heavy river. They actually say you do not want to swim in it at that point because the undercurrent is crazy strong. And even here, there's some white, a little bit of white water that there are no rocks popping up. So that's just heavy running water, deep water. It's not because there are rocks
You
there.
drop in it and be under.
Yeah.
There's the second bridge or the first bridge that we already crossed, the second now. But I guess, it doesn't really do its justice to see the video. You really should go and attempt this for yourself.
Yeah.
You can pay and take the mules down.
You can.
You can ride rafts down there, and then you can take a helicopter out.
Yeah.
You can take a helicopter in if you got enough money.
Yeah, right.
I mean,
We watched actually helicopters fly over and through it
when we were down at
all
this
day.
point, I'm surprised they're not in the video now. It was right before this
Yeah.
and right after. I think there's a video shortly after we crossed this bridge as well.
Oh,
Yeah.
this is where that lady was.
Yeah. So
Had to stop.
yeah, there's another set of horses or mules coming up as well, and that's right. So there was a lady that had to get taken out. She was at the end of this trail, and we do not show this in the video. We just show the beginning of the trail. But when we hit the end of the rock, we found out that she just had too hard of a time, and they had called rescue for her to be taken out.
I could imagine sitting on a horse,
Yes.
looking off the edge of this canyon
It would be a lot.
on something you don't know isn't going to jump off of that thing because there's a mouse running.
I mean, watching the first bit, you could see how trained, and they're all tied together, and they're just watching, and they're just going. Welcome to the Grand Canyon. I love it. But these horses are trained.
Yeah,
they
they are.
they do this every day. So for her to get freaked out, I feel for her, but I'm also like, oh man,
Trust them.
it cost her a little bit of money, I believe, to have that, and other people too.
Especially get the
But I feel for
helicopter
you,
down
baby.
there to pick her
I got nothing but unconditional love. Yeah, well, that's it. A
true.
helicopter ride now, and somebody else had to bring the horse away.
Yeah.
But let's see. Do we have that video? I do somewhere. Here's on our way back up. The other horses.
Oh,
and,
God.
And also, so just a little setup before I play the video. We hurry, and we're going. Let's see. Wait, I think I have one more video. We're hurrying and we're going, and then we hop behind this rock.
Get out of their way.
To get out of their way. So it was pretty nice. It was fun.
It's a good shady spot for us to sit down, relax, and
I see that. I'm looking for after the bridge too, is what I labeled that. First bridge, after the second bridge. Okay, so here's a little video so I don't get lost. This is before the horses. So we hop across the bridge. We take this and we know there's horses. And yeah, you can see the rafts down there. Now we heard that you can't do the rafts, obviously, without getting to the bottom of the Grand Canyon. So
No, that's what we heard. I don't know if that's 100% true or
I'm
not,
not
but
sure. I would imagine.
I see empty rafts down there and people hiking down to get to
Right.
the rafts.
I would
so-
imagine that you gotta hike down to be able to do the rafting trip.
Yeah.
And then you're rafting out. Wow, what an intense day. You probably stay. I couldn't even imagine that. And here I'm doing it again. I'm barefoot.
Oh, man.
Oh, it's just ridiculous. So here's on our way back up after in the horses. They call it Leaning Rock, and we're standing there and they're passing us, and just little rocks when we look down.
All for you guys. Like, what are you talking about?
He's
I'm
like,
holding
"Yeah, I
it
got
up.
this." It was nice. There was an extra lady at the end of this, and this is what we're talking about. She did not make it, so
She had stopped just behind them.
she's around the other end of the rock here. We don't film that and add that to, we didn't even want to spook her as we passed, but they were so beautiful and so well tamed. I didn't think it, would happen. The horse was just, chilling.
Yeah, they're living life, man. They're just going up and down the Grand Canyon, seeing these beautiful views every day.
I know, right?
Not paying rent. Oh.
That was really cool. So we've now shown off most of the bridges, and to be honest, there was a little stream that we walked through.
This was okay. This stream was relieving the go across.
We've been walking 5 hours at this point.
This was about the time we started going back up. This was probably about the rest house.
Yeah,
or the
the
rest
rest
house,
house.
or just past it. We were getting to a point to where as soon as we started seeing water on the side of the trail, we were dunking our heads and
Woo, it was
splashing our face.
Hot.
Oh my
no
God.
shade coming
No.
at us at this. We were in full
Straight
canyon sun.
Yup,
And
straight
we
up.
understood it. And at this point, I don't have too much video of the garden. It just didn't. The video that I have of it is not transferring over. I did have one, so I wish I
I'll
could show
send
that
him
for
the one
you.
I
He's
have.
probably got some, and
Yeah.
we'll dig through that. But if we can't, ultimately, this garden after the Plateau Point, it was so much abundance of food if you hit it at the right time. And that's what I found out about the desert as a whole. At certain times, it has an abundance of food. And if you're ready, boom, you harvest it, you got food all year, and maybe
All year.
even for more than just yourself and your immediate family and community that's moving through. So I can really respect that type, and we'll try to plant and harvest through the garden of natural life as any property that I have. Hopefully what I mean by that is I have access to some type of forest where I can naturally put plants that are food and also good for the ecosystem that come and go and that help grow this system. But it's about paying attention to the natural.
And that's what Indian Gardens is, actually. This was a spot in the Grand Canyon that the natives had realized, wow, this is a good area. We should really just start planting stuff here that will come and go every year. And what they created is an oasis on the side of this canyon.
It's amazing.
It's amazing.
It really is. I want to go back and do it again. And for this point on, pretty much it got going back up the mountain, and it became more strenuous and more strenuous. And I wasn't pulling out the camera to film as much. I took a bunch of pictures, and that's where I'll start filtering those into this part of the video. Where we just pretty much talk about going past to the 3 Mile Rest House, which was actually,
oh my God.
I mean, we just thought it was never going to end. And that was the only part from the Indian Garden to the Maricopa Point to the 3 Mile Rest House that I even really saw any cactuses that we had to walk through. That I was worried about stepping on anything that was gonna.
You're right. I never really noticed that.
That was the only time. Every other time was trail that was made dirt,
rock,
and rock. Yeah. And I was hopping like boop 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 down the rocks, and the dirt was great. That was the only time with the cacti.
Not very many insects or anything. The only time we ran into that scorpion was that night.
That was an amazing thing, and that's about the time we're coming back up the zigzags of the Bright Angel Trail, and it's getting dark, and we're taking pictures, and we can see people's flashlights down at the bottom where we were just at an hour and a half ago. And we know that it's getting dark, and those people are going to take 3 hours to get to the top.
It was crazy.
Oh my gosh, and they're going to pass our friend Mr. Scorpion on the way.
We actually, it was starting to get dark. I think we were at Indian Garden, and some lady came. She was hiking down, and she was like, "Hey, how close am I to
the water,
the Great Colorado River?" We were like,
you're gonna make it if you go.
If you keep going, you might make. So we're hiking up. Nighttime falls. We're probably at 3 Mile Rest House, maybe mile and a half.
Maybe almost mile and a half rest house.
She passes us.
Coming
back up.
She made it to the water.
Made it to the water.
We were sitting on the side. I had it was just I took a lot of breaks. And at this point it was very much. I was very thankful that I had draw with me to be able to do the experience, because I was able to draw from that, and he was ahead of me, and I was able to be like, yeah man, let's just go power through this up this freaking mountain barefoot with this pack on my back, which I should have never had. This pack, it was not made for that. But we do the things that we do because we do them, and then we learn from them.
Yeah.
And it was pretty amazing. Like, I really learned about myself in this trip. I pushed myself to a limit that I didn't plan on. Like we talked about at the beginning of this video, we did not plan on doing this.
We're just like,
at certain times,
can you?
At certain times, I almost doubted why I was doing it. Would I be like the woman who needed to be airlifted out? Because now, as I'm like struggling coming back up a little bit, I know it's a possibility. I know that I could just sit there and wait if I really, really, truly want to, and there'll be that ranger coming back up, and woo, they'll get a mule, and maybe it'll cost a couple $100. But did I want to be that guy?
Did you become that guy?
No. Did you become that guy?
I knew I
No, we slayed. I know
we slayed that.
We
really
slayed
did.
the Grand Canyon. and it was probably the coolest thing. We're gonna do it again.
Yes, we will.
Maybe we'll organize, a trip with some other people to do little sections. I know Rachel wants to go with us. I'm a little bit worried about maybe my daughter at 10 doing it right now, but we did see children going down.
Oh yeah.
And we did see children that age
Backpacks.
with and they were at the lunch spot.
Yeah.
Everything was pretty amazing. So
I would suggest at least going to Grand Canyon for anybody out
go
there.
check it out.
If you I've seen many museum displays of those, and you walk into these rooms that are super bright with the grand, so it like blinds you as you walk into this room, and then you see all the pictures, and it's like huge. It was like that, but in real life, I walked through these trees and it blinded me, and then all of a sudden,
it was so amazing. We played drums too there.
Yeah, that was amazing.
People thought we were busking, but we weren't busking. We were just actually playing music and putting the vibe out, and some people were dancing and loving it. Some people were a little weirded out about it.
Got footage of that too.
Yeah. We'll try to maybe throw that up here, or maybe that'll become secret Patreon content. Thank you guys for following, us this far.
Yeah, if you made it this far.
If you made it this far, all about our Grand Canyon trip, man. We've got a ton of pictures, and I'll be throwing those up right now. It was the most amazing thing. If you've never been to the Grand Canyon, especially where we were, you don't even actually have to pay to get in. If you have a vehicle that can take the road, there is a Forest Service road that you get onto before you go through the gate that takes you all the way to where you can get back onto where there is paid for gate. But I'll tell you what, if you don't have the right kind of, I couldn't do it in my 40-foot
We've
bus.
seen a Mercedes make it.
Other people did come out that way. That's right, they took it. So, I mean, take your chances.
I wouldn't take much of it.
They made it, it's illegal to block off something like that. This is a world, you can't do that. But they made it really hard for people.
They did make it.
And so there's options, Get to the Grand Canyon if you have a chance. Thanks for watching our video.
Yeah, we love you all.
Check out some of our other videos. If you haven't joined our Amethyst giveaway, do that. Make sure you're checking out our last podcast. We'll link those two videos, and hope to see you at the next ones.
Hopefully we can get into talking about how you can wind up potentially doing this on your own.
On your own, yeah, definitely.
Not just watching us do it. Like I tell people all the time, don't just dream.
Don't talk about it, be about it.
Yeah, just get up and do it.
It's great that you're here and watching. I hope it inspired you to go and do it for yourself.
Yeah.
Do something nice for somebody, you guys. That stuff's going to come back to you. Love you.
Love ya.